Honey Wish Day Midgard. My name is Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter, and today I just wanted to talk about what I love about Indigenous literature. So tomorrow, I don't know, like 12 hours from now? 24 hours? Yeah. Well, 12, 22 more like, because we're leaving early. But tomorrow I get to see David Heska Wanbli Weiden in Sioux Falls for a discussion from, I can't remember exactly where it is. They sent me contact details, but I've been really looking forward to this event. I signed up last month not knowing what was going to happen or what was, I had plans. If I was going to come to this, whether... And then my husband was like, oh, yeah, we can totally go. One book Siouxland program. So they sent me an email as well about it. I just wanted to talk to you about a couple things about what I love about Indigenous literature and maybe some things that I hope will continue. Granted, I have a huge pile of Indigenous literature that I have not gotten to yet. I do plan on doing here are some of the books that I want to read video, since I have read some of those since that last time. Some of my priorities with Indigenous literature have changed. I have a few videos coming out this year about it, so let's get into it. So some of the things that I love are discussions about tribal politics and how things affect a community in order to orchestrate change. A lot of times you see things being brought up like missing, murdered Indigenous women, domestic violence policies, different clean water, better education, all of the things that we need to see. All the things that we need to see. Everybody deserves clean drinking water. Everybody deserves to feel safe in their homes, no matter where you live. And our children deserve good educations. And so I really love seeing that in books, because you can create a really good dialogue with people. And also, one person that I really love to see talk about this kind of thing is Kim from Native Lady Book Warrior. Kim is like the auntie. She is amazing. She is so well versed in some of these things, because that's her job, I love to just listen to her talk about things. She's so, I don't know, I just she has that, which I'll get to, but she has that piece of what I absolutely love, which brings me to my next point. I absolutely love the grandmas and aunties. Positive matriarch figures are always good for me to see. I have a stack of books here, but in at least every couple of books you see someone's auntie or someone's grandma or your mom, somebody's mom, or somebody, positive patriarchal roles, just to see the positivity of that, because a lot of times sometimes you get aunties that have had problems with domestic disputes or problems with substance abuse, which is really prevalent and unfortunate. I myself have a couple of aunts who have had problems with substances, have had problems with alcohol, but that doesn't diminish their character. That doesn't take away from it doesn't take away from their ability to be a positive role model for children, especially in literature. I just love that. There's a candle that I got in a box, and I remember talking to somebody about this, and I was like, this candle literally smells like an old grandma's hands, and I'm picturing this woman in my mind. She kind of reminds me of this one on TikTok. But her hands are like very wrinkled, and she has this lotion or whatever. She puts it on her. She gives you a hug, and you just feel this sense of home. You feel this sense of peace. You feel this like tranquility. That is what I'm talking about. So I love seeing like positive role models in Indigenous literature for children, for adults, for everybody. Everybody deserves to have that one awesome grandma or an awesome auntie or somebody in your life that just orchestrates positivity. Like I do have that in my life, which I'm so happy for. So everybody deserves that. Another one something else that I love about Indigenous literature is Indigenous joy and Indigenous love. Indigenous joy is such a rare commodity, especially when it comes to Indigenous literature or even like the depiction of Indigenous peoples in media. There's just not enough joy. We're not always struggling with our identity. We're not always struggling with our sexuality, with our family, with our lives. Sometimes we feel joy, we feel happiness, we feel all of these positive emotions, and I love seeing that in books because I feel like it's not seen enough. You always have some kind of identity crisis or some kind of, atrocity that's happened or, something bad, but it could be further from the truth. One thing I absolutely love about Indigenous literature is the understanding that there are moments where sometimes the law fails. And so, you have your equalizers, you have your vigilantes, you have those people in your community on the reservation that are just taking the law in their own hands. And, oh, sorry, I didn't realize this was here. Hi, how are you? I get to see him tomorrow. I'm so excited. But there are, there are examples of that in Indigenous literature, and I just love to see that, There's always that one guy, and sometimes it's even a woman, where you don't want to mess with them because they will come after you. Another thing that I love in Indigenous literature is just like the storytelling. And when I say storytelling, I mean this with like fables. I mean this with like, at the end of the thing, there's always a lesson. There's always a moral of the story. I love seeing our people's, like, our values, our culture spread throughout different pieces of literature, throughout different pieces of everything, This was actually brought up not a couple months ago, maybe like last week sometime. There was a tweet that my friend Alexis was talking about, that this author got totally ripped apart because they were like, oh, well, you shouldn't talk about that, or you shouldn't blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why not? Unless you're discussing like customs or spiritual measures or different things like that, where that's not meant for other eyes, if that's not meant for cultures outside of that specific region or throughout that specific place, they don't need to know. And like I even had a discussion with this about my husband when he was just like, well, that's lost knowledge. And I'm like, okay, but that knowledge, that's not meant for you. That's not meant for you. It's meant for me. It's meant for our son. It's meant for this person or that person. It's not meant for you. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, so unless I feel like it's important to write about those things. It's important because, like, take Sisters That Never See. What is stopping you from writing your own? Oh, this one and the one about with that Jill Featherstone wrote. But there is nothing stopping you from writing a native Peter Pan. There is nothing stopping you from writing a native Cinderella. there's nothing stopping you from writing about these things and fulfilling your own cultural journey without giving away specific information, without giving away specific customs or, things that other people don't need to know. So I would really love to see that. There's one that I'm thinking of writing, but I'm not telling anybody about it. So, and then we have, a good one that I really love is use of language. So in this book, there's a couple of instances where, native words are used. And they're spread throughout this, throughout the book. I love that. Because it allows you to learn more, to see more. I just love it. And also what I do love is seeing all skin tones for Indigenous bodies. Like, I would just love to see a native film made that had the same kind of skin coverage that Encanto did. Like, you saw, like, Peppa, who literally has, like, a lighter skin tone. You have, Felix, who has super dark skin. And then you have, like, Mirabelle, who has just, like, regular brown skin. You have Bruno, Abuela, who's got more of, like a sweeter, more like a sienna reddish tone. You have all of these different skin tones throughout the movie. And I would just love to see that being seen in other books. Like Apple, she's got lighter skin tone, and at first she's afraid of it, but then she loves it. Like, she loves seeing the way that her skin changes in the sun, and she comes to grow more comfortable with it, which I love because it made me feel so seen. It made me feel so incredibly seen. And there are more points, but those are just some of the ones that I wrote down. So I'm going to show you some books here that I have. As always, gotta love seeing books. We have Apple in the Middle by Don Quigley. Next month, we are going to be seeing Georgia McCoon's Fancy Pants, which this one is also in there too. I included. We have Georgia McCoon's The Used to Be Best Friend, illustrated by Tara Odever. And this was such a good book. I've read this I don't know how many times, but it's one of my favorites. The next one is coming out May 10th. So mark your calendars. May 10th. Next we have Winter Counts, which brings up the vigilantism, which brings up the good eating. It brings up substance abuse. It brings up corruption. It brings up all of these really important issues that need to be spoken about, and this gives this a way to talk about it. I always recommend this to people. There is a death of a child in the book, which is like one of my main triggers. But he explained to me why he wrote it, and I can't wait to see him tomorrow. I'm so excited. I've never seen him before in the flesh, but like just the fact that I get to see him, I'm just so excited. Next we have is Sisters of the Neversea by Cynthia Leidig Smith. And this one is a native Peter Pan. And it talks to you about like family and, you can get through anything as long as you have, your sisters and your family together, your brothers. And so that one is what I really liked. And you see like positive forms of family together. Another positive family that I saw, not necessarily family, but more so like love, family love, was Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Granted, it does have a little bit of, there's some things in it that have been like questioned, and it's not like, there's some things in there that were not meant for other people. So there is that. I think that was that with Trail of Lightning too, but I've never read that one. So, but yeah, I really loved that one too. Next we have Sanctified, which also has a character who is a positive matriarch. She's not necessarily a matriarch, but she's someone's, she's someone's auntie. And she, has had her fair share of trial and tribulation, and she had problems with the substances, and she has become a better person after everything. And she even was like, yeah, I can be mean, which I absolutely love that. I love a good mean girl, and Raven is definitely a good mean girl. And then you have, Jude, who was, is religious, and he's Catholic, and, some of his religion and some of his belief come into question once he starts to fall for Raven, and you see, like, family dynamics. Love that. And this is probably one of my favorites. If you read There, and you were like, oh my god, like, you know that it was probably not for you, and it was probably maybe too violent for you, which it was for me. It was really violent. This is what you need to read. If you read There, and you're like, that was too much for me emotionally, then you need to read this, because this is all about families getting together, people coming together at a powwow, and experiencing their culture. You have, people coming in from Canada, you have people coming in from the States, and it all takes place, I think, in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah, Ann Arbor. And it's at a high school gym. There's beadwork, friendship. It talks about, like, the sacrifices people made for the country. There's, like, stuff with, like, soldiers. You see, like, different family dynamics and the way that people, the way that family just makes all the difference in the world, and the way that, people make a difference. Even, like, little puppies, even little res puppies. And I really, really loved it, and I really enjoyed it. So this is definitely one of my favorites. I really need to reread this, but I'm working on some other projects at the moment. I also just wanted to say that I'm so grateful because we're going to pull this out. I got The Summer of Bitter and Sweet by Jen Ferguson in the mail yesterday, and I was so excited. I'd emailed like 3 people about this at least. I messaged Cynthia Ledig Smith herself. I messaged Jen Ferguson. I messaged a publicist. I went like the full 9 yards. I was like, can I please just, like, I will take an e-copy. I'll take a PDF. Like, can I please just read this? And thanks to Carmen from Tomes and Textiles, she actually reached out to someone at Epic Reads, and they got in touch with me, and so I'm just so excited to be promoting this book as well, because it's gorgeous. Like, this is a beaded cover. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? Okay, here we go. So, like, you see where it's beaded, and then on the back, it also has some, where's it? Oh, here we go. See, you see, like, stuff right there. I was confusing this with my iPad camera. See? It's really gorgeous. Do you need to get by? You need to get by? Excuse me. There you go. So, yeah, I was really excited to get this in the mail. I'm also working on some other projects involving the imprint. So, yeah, that is my stack, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I just kind of wanted to sit down with you and talk about some things. I've been playing catch up. The first couple weeks of what are you doing? Okay, hold on a second. Okay, sorry. In the first couple weeks of April, my mom was in the hospital. I did talk about that. She's at her house right now. which is good. She's been doing okay. You know, she's moving around pretty good. So this is not a dire situation. However, it's just really hard to see my mom in a less than ideal situation. So she's doing good. She's at home, so she's you know, able to get around and cook for herself and things like that. It's just, I'm just a helicopter person. And yeah, today we had a really good day, actually. I got some dishes done, and my aunt and I, we went to go get some things for something we're working on next year. I also got to meet the Native American Student Association, the advisor for the club, and so I'm hoping that he will reach out at some point. They talked about like reading to kids, I think, which I'm pretty excited for, really. And then hopefully, you know, I did talk to him about Indigathon, so I'm hoping that maybe the students will want to participate. Like, that would just be so cool to see an entire classroom, not in classroom, but like an entire class like participating in it. They're supposed to be like 18 by next November, so that will be really awesome just to like see them get excited, you know, even if I just like hear about them getting excited about it. But I did tell him about it, so he'll probably be perusing my videos, and I'm really hoping that he doesn't see anything untoward. He doesn't see any, I swear a lot, but I'm trying not to, just in case like there are youths watching. Every time I hear the word youths, I'm thinking of Schmidt from New Girl. The youths. So yeah, this is just a small pile of the things that I like to read. Like, I have a gigantic shelf right here, but there's stuff in front of it. This room was being used for my mom's, for the bed, and so I've been cleaning things and getting everything kind of back to normal, and I have to catch up. What'd you do? I gotta catch up on some chores. Hold on, I'm gonna put this back together. Okay, but these are the ones that I took off of my favorites shelf. And so I'm hoping that at least by next November, I will have a few that I have read. I do plan on taking May off, so this is my second to last video before June. I'm going to be working on content in May and hopefully reading some books and getting videos done. And then by June, you will see a bunch of stuff, I'm hoping. I'm also going to be working on the next episode of Friend from Work at some point. I have like an entire list of people that I would love to read from, experience favorites from. They're not going to be all their favorites. Sometimes it might actually be like they'll pick out like something off of my shelf, off of my reads, or they will, like just recommend something. So, or like I'll take an inspiration from them. Like I took inspiration from Alex, and I'm really excited. What else do I have? Oh, next month is my birthday, and I'm really excited. I want books for my birthday really badly. I don't know, like, I want books, and I want, like, a ton of cards. Like, I usually don't ask formally for anything for my birthday, but this year I would really love books. Like, I have to update my actual what I want list on Amazon, because I just have a few books on there, but I really need to update it because there's quite a few books that I would, like to see. Hi. I love you too. Okay, are we sitting together?
Done.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm going on 25 minutes, so I will talk to you later. I hope you're all doing well. If you want to send me a birthday card, my birthday's not till May 24th. But if you want to send me a birthday card, please hit me up in my DMs. Or for any other information, I use my contact email for my Kindle email. So, and that is honestly it. If there are, when I make that video for Indigenous literature, if there are any books on it that you do not see, please let me know, and I will check into them, because there's some books that I just won't read for, like, sake of, content. Like, if it has something in it that I know will trigger me, I'm probably not going to read it if it's, if I know that it's going to trigger me or, like, upset me in general. So, yeah, super excited to see David Weiden tomorrow, and I will let you know how it went. So, I will see you when I see you. Stay safe. Okay, wear your mask, because I know, like, a lot of places, like the airports now don't have masks. Okay. And it's getting nice out, and I know the allergies are going to be pretty bad, so please take care of yourself. Don't drive while you're incapacitated, and just let those people know. Let people know, maybe if you haven't told them in a while, tell them you love them. Call that friend of yours that you talk to on the daily basis or something. Just tell them you love them. Send them a card. Reach out to them in some way. Maybe even reach out to somebody who you haven't talked to in a while. Not for bad reasons, but, maybe it's just you've been busy, So, that's it for me, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.